What are function modifiers for? Solidity offers a special type of function called the function modifier. You apply modifiers to functions by adding the modifier name in the function declaration. Modifiers can be used to change the behavior of functions in a declarative way. We use the modifier to automatically check a condition prior to executing the function. Essentially, the modifier is wrapped around the modified function, placing its code in the location identified by the underscore character. Modifiers are inheritable properties of contracts and may be overridden by derived contracts, but only if they are marked virtual. Let's see some examples. We have this owned contract with the address payable variable owner. The constructor is a special kind of function that runs before all other functions when we deploy the contract, and in here we are setting the owner to the message sender, so the address that is deploying the contract. Now below that we have the modifier only owner, and in this modifier we use this special keyword require to make sure that the message sender equals the owner, because only the owner can call this function. This contract only defines the modifier but does not use it. It will be used in derived contracts. The function body is inserted where the special symbol this is a peculiar syntactic placeholder, and this is replaced by the code of the function that is being modified. And for this case, this modifier really means that if the owner calls this function, the function is executed. Otherwise, an exception is thrown. Now I added this destructible contract that is owned, so it inherits from the owned contract, and it has this function destroy public, and in here we are using the modifier. So if the message sender is the owner, this function will run this other self-destruct function that receives the owner. If not, it will throw an error, and we have defined here the message we want to send. Now we have this priced contract, and if you notice, we have another modifier that takes arguments. So modifiers can also receive arguments. In this case, it is a uint, and in here we are checking if the message value is greater or equal than the price. Let's create another contract. So here we have the register contract that inherits from priced and from destructible. It has this registered addresses mapping and this price uint. When deploying the contract, we have to provide the initial price that will set the state variable price inside the contract. In here, we also have this register function that is public, payable, and it uses this costs modifier defined in the priced contract. And it is sending the price, and in here we will make the checks, see if the message value is greater or equal than the price, and if so, the transaction will happen and we will make the register in this mapping, this registered addresses. We also have this function change price that inherits from only owner, that is defined in this destructible contract, but inherits from the first contract, the owned contract. So in here, only the owner will be able to change the price. Let's deploy all of the contracts now. So here they are. Let's use the register contract. I will be using the register function. We have to provide a value, and the transaction was successful. Here we have the data. Now I will change the account that I'm using. Let's use the second, and I'll come down here and I will try to destroy the contract. This function is defined in the destructible contract, and because register inherits from destructible, we have access to the function in here. Let's use it. and as you can see we can't use it. Transact to register destroy error, and in here we have the message. The transaction has been reverted to the initial state, reason provided by the contract. Only owner can call this function. This is where modifiers are really helpful. Let's try to change the price. By the same reasons, we can't do that. But if I change the account, let's use the first account again. And now let's use the destroy function. It was successful. Function modifiers are an extremely useful tool because they allow us to write preconditions for functions and apply them consistently, making the code easier to read and as a result easier to audit for security. Make sure you like and subscribe so you can be notified when I upload the next video. Thanks for watching.